Mr. Braley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Prince, my best friend married Mary Lubbers, whose father and grandfather were the presidents at Hope College.
Small world.
I want to start by asking you about a a statement you made on page 3 of your written statement that you shared with the committee, where you wrote, "The company and its personnel are all accountable under and subject to numerous statutes, treaties, and regulations of the United States." And then you went on and attached to your statement a list of existing laws, regulations, and treaties that apply to contractors and their personnel. Is that the document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
Is it your testimony today, under oath, that all Blackwater employees working in Iraq and Afghanistan are subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the Military Extraterritorial Jurisdiction Act, and the War Crimes Act?
It is my understanding that is the case, yes, sir.
All right, well, let's look at this document. I want to ask you about it. This document, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, applies in the time of declared war. You would agree that there has been no declared war in Iraq or Afghanistan?
No, but I believe it's been amended to include contingency operations.
Is it your understanding that a contingency operation would apply to what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I'm not a lawyer, but my layman's understanding is yes.
All right, and then it says to persons serving with or accompanying an armed force in the field. Do you see that?
I don't have it in front of me, but you're reading from it.
Well, I'm just reading from the document that you provided to us. If that's what the Uniform Code of Military Justice provides, you would agree that based upon your own description of the activities of your company, there are times when your employees are not serving with or accompanying armed forces in the field.
There are times when U.S. military units are actually embedded in our motorcades.
But to answer my question, there are times when your employees are not serving with or accompanying armed forces in the field. Isn't that correct?
Sir, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you that level of detail. If you want a clear written statement as to a company opinion, I'm sure the State Department can answer what their opinion is on that. But we've looked at it, and we're comfortable that our guys could be brought under investigation with those ruling legal authorities over their heads.
And then let's look at the Military Extraterritorial Jurisdiction Act. Section 3261, criminal offenses committed by certain members of the armed forces and by persons employed by or accompanied by the armed forces outside the United States. You would agree that there are circumstances where your employees would not meet that definition based upon their service in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I believe that was changed yet again to include any U.S.-funded contract.
Well, that's the definition that applies to U.S.-funded contracts from the statute.
Again, I'm not a lawyer, sir. I'm sorry.
Then let's look at the War Crimes Act of 1996, which applies if the perpetrator is a U.S. national or a member of U.S. armed forces. You would agree, based upon your testimony today, that there would be circumstances when some of your employees would not meet the definition of perpetrator to be covered by the War Crimes Act.
Again, I'm not sure, sir.
Well, you testified that you hire some third country nationals. They would not be U.S. nationals, would they?
Yes, correct.
And they would not be members of the U.S. Armed Forces.
But they're serving in a U.S. DOD contingency operation.
Then let's